put another life jacket on or else you can't come in because you're unlife jacketed.
No, I already have a life jacket. I'm good.
Sir, you're putting yourself in grave danger of drowning. That life jacket you have on will not work unless you also put on another life jacket. And you're putting everyone else at risk of drowning too. His 4 life jackets he has on will not work unless the current life jacket you're wearing is accompanied by another life jacket.
This is sounding less and less scientific.
I represent the science of flotation.
Well, if this one's so useless, why'd I have to get it in the first place?
Because it works very effectively at protecting you from drowning.
Let me get this straight, what you want me to believe. You want me to think that life jackets work so well that it's essential that I wear one at all times to be protected from water.
That's correct.
And you also want me to think that they work so poorly that I need to get another one every 6 months?
That's correct. I'm glad you get it.
Now, let's admit it here. The big life jacket multinational corporations and the politicians that they bought off sure do make a very compelling case here. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings, here to wearechange.org. We got a lot of absolute crazy information to get into, as the President of the United States just released another bombshell announcement, as it looks like panic and hysteria have gripped this country, as governments around the world are bringing in absolutely ridiculous policies that are just as Orwellian as they are nonsensical, especially in Austria, where the government is going to be hunting down people who don't comply with the whims of government. We're going to be talking about that plus a lot more, but before we do, the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was, of course, by Awaken with JP. He does absolutely incredible work, and I am so happy YouTube hasn't figured out how to censor and attack satire, because if they did, they would take down his channel immediately. His channel and the link to the full video that we just watched a portion of will be down in the description below, so you could watch more of it. This, as other big tech social media platforms like Facebook have already targeted us for satire, for humor, as we posted this meme, which clearly is satirical, clearly is meant to make people laugh, and because of that, we got a 30-day ban on our Facebook page, our main page, where, of course, we reach out to a lot of different people. Yes, for this meme, which Facebook labeled hate speech for some reason, we just got taken off that big tech social media platform, and that's why it's more important than ever to follow us on other alternatives like enough-of-censorship.com, our website where you could sign up on our email list and make sure that we are uncensorable. Now, as the android from Star Trek asks you to follow him into the metaverse, an online digital space where, of course, he will control everything, delete humor, which he deems inappropriate, and destroy people's livelihoods over jokes, we also have to remind you that the establishment is literally asking you to cover your eyes and face and to deny the current reality of our existence. I'm still shocked they haven't figured out how to cover people's ears. I think that's next in some kind of symbolic, perverse, tyrannical way. But hey, we'll see. And while other people go into the metaverse, live in their pods, and start eating bugs, thousands of other people are having a mass awakening, like this video footage from Brussels, Belgium, where a huge amount of people came out into the middle of the streets to fight for their human rights and bodily autonomy, standing up to ever-aggressive, tyrannical moves being made by their governments that seek to restrict their liberties and way of life, that seek to restrict their civil liberties, their access to financial freedom. Why are people waking up in such large numbers? Because, one, what the government is doing is egregious. Two, what the government has been doing has always been egregious, especially when it came to aiding and abetting an international extortion and trafficking operation for over 30 years, with, of course, Mr. Epstein and Maxwell at the helm of it. Miss Maxwell right now is in court facing some very serious charges. The jury is now deliberating her fate, and of course, this is a story that we are going to be keeping a very close eye on, since, of course, we're finding out that a lot of former presidents have hung out with this extortionist and trafficker of children more times than we even previously knew about, as we're finding out today that Trump flew on Epstein's private jet 6 more times than previously known, all of course in the 1990s. This, of course, is the same man that's demanding credit for the procedure that's being forced and manipulated on a lot of people all over the world. We talked about this a little bit on LukeUncensored.com yesterday. We're going to have a bigger, more expansive conversation about that, as well as some really other crazy issues that, of course, we cannot get into on this platform. And we have yet another crazy video coming your way, all exclusively on LukeUncensored.com. If you haven't joined up yet, what are you waiting for? Click the link right now, find out more information, and see the many ways that you could be involved, and check out our multitude of classes, seminars, how-to videos, self-help videos, and just news videos in general that, of course, you can't get anywhere else. It's all available to you, LukeUncensored.com. Hope to see you later there today for another video coming your way. Now, very interestingly, a couple days ago, the current president of the United States announced that he's going to have a major speech today on December 21st, 2021, something that he has called an emergency speech, which is also being done on winter solstice today, the longest night of the year. And with some of the statements that the White House has been releasing recently, this has caused many people to call the President of the United States satirically the current Night King, as of course he's threatening Americans with severe illness, death, and overwhelming hospitals for not doing what he wants them to do. And today he announced that he is going to be sending 1,000 troops to hospitals to help them out. The federal government will also be buying 500 million home test kits, which they will be sending out and giving to the general public for free. An idea which Jim Psaki said was ridiculous 2 weeks ago. This, as of course his administration is still focusing on telling everyone to take this procedure to fight this new sickness, which has hit states like New York and New Jersey, which has a citizenry that complied with this procedure overwhelmingly, and now is getting slammed by this new variant. And it's been a year that Biden has been promising to shut down this sickness. Meanwhile, cases have been dramatically going up, as envisioned by this video that I was also playing in the background. This, as it's also important to note here that the federal government is ill-prepared to even test people. This after having more than enough time to set up institutions, to set up infrastructure to do so. This, as we're also hearing rumblings of our current medical system being overwhelmed, which we had more than plenty enough of time of to build up, and yet we haven't done that at all. And when looking at these long lines of people, hearing stories of people waiting outside in the cold for 6 hours just to get tested in major urban areas, I asked myself, what in the world are you thinking doing this, standing in line outside in the cold next to people that could potentially get you sick? And the second thing is, this looks like the DMV, especially in places like New York City, as of course almost everything the government does is absolutely either totally incompetent, absolutely backwards, and a huge waste of time and money. There's no denying that, and I think the sickness has highlighted that perfectly. But yet, these are the same people who failed you that are asking for more of your rights, more of your money, more of your compliance, or this big, bad, unknown boogeyman will come and get you. And that, to me, is behavior that is absolutely outrageous and shouldn't be tolerated. This is Dr. Fauci is raising the alarms like he has always done, fear-mongered and presented incorrect data that later down the line always proves to be incorrect, flip-flopping on many of his important decisions, sending out very confusing messages, while of course the people who did comply are dealing with more issues and problems, just like the NHL, that nearly has 100% rate of people complying with the procedure that just had 15% of their league players out because of the sickness which this procedure was so supposed to protect against. This has caused the NHL to even pause all games. This again with nearly 100% rate of individuals who complied with the procedure. Portugal, 90% of the population there has complied with the procedure. They're going down with new lockdowns, with new cases surging in that country. And so are a lot of very prominent politicians who claim to be triple boosted, triple compliant. This as Brian May, Cory Booker, Hunter Walker, Elizabeth Warren, the governor of Maryland, Jim Cramer, most of the CNN and BuzzFeed employees all complied with this procedure, took 3 of them, and are reporting that they are all sick with this latest case. New York specifically, the numbers are surging. South Africa, the numbers are going down. South Africa also has a very low compliant rate with the procedure. New York has a very high one. Austria, a lot of their citizens also complied. Their numbers are surging. Their government is going out of control, as the Austrian government has announced that it officially is hiring people to hunt down people who refuse to take the procedure. This is according to a report published by Blick, a media publication in that country, as the government there will literally be tracking, tracing, and fining people or putting them in jail if they can't pay the fines for choosing not to take a medical procedure. You will have to pay as a form of punishment for deciding what is right for your body. The government is hiring a new army of inspectors to ensure that everyone complies, specifically hunting down employees and then using the force and violence of the state to steal money from them, as Austrians who don't comply with the whims of government by February face fines up to 7,200 euros, almost 8,000 US dollars, for not complying with what the government wants them to do. If you don't pay those fines, you face 12 months in jail. Is it just one procedure that you have to take? Well, obviously not. It's not 1, it's not 2, it's not even 3 anymore. It's now going up to 4, and in some places, like in Germany, the government there is now recommending boosters every 3 months. Yes, local governments in Germany are recommending that people take a booster shot 3 months after the second shot. And whether it's the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, you will have to comply with this, or again, the government will hunt you down like in Austria and steal your wealth and money right from you. In Boston, the local government there also implemented absolutely draconian Orwellian policies, which they're calling, quote, "Be Together." Yes, this is not a joke. This is not a prank. This is not the Babylon Bee. The local government in Boston just announced the Be Together initiative, which will require people to show government permission, paperwork, and medical records to go into restaurants, gyms, and sports arenas, which of course discriminates against a large number of the population, predominantly blacks, which of course will be excluded from being a part of these activities, all a part of the Be Together initiative. The EU Commissioner just announced that the certificates of compliance will need to be updated every 9 months. Expect this date to change soon. And why are we doing this? How will this help people? Where's the scientific data showing and highlighting? Where's the correlation proving that this will actually help when all the circumstantial evidence is showing it's not and might potentially be doing the opposite of that? Now, again, not a medical doctor, not a medical professional, not here giving you any kind of medical advice, but where the frick is the data? Show me the data to convince me that this is the right thing to do, and then we could have a debate on it. But so far, we don't have any of that. As we're finding out, when we really look at the data, we're getting a totally different picture than, of course, the fear-mongering one from Dr. Fauci. We're finding out that hospital systems are not at the risk of being overwhelmed. We're also finding out that within the last 3 months, the deaths from this sickness have been steadily going down and continue to go down. And according to many medical professionals and scientists, this latest variant is, of course, very transmissible, but very less threatening and less lethal than, of course, previous variants, which highlights the possibility of natural herd immunity really quickly, and potentially the end of this entire nightmare, with this being what some people have called the last gasp of bureaucrats using a dying sickness to push their lunatic, power-drunk, tyrannical ways. That's an assessment that some people are making on social media, and I would have to argue that their case is becoming more compelling by the day. What do you think? The other side, though, is pushing a lot of segregation and bigotry, just like Ana Navarro Cardenas, a self-congratulized CNN anchor who's literally spreading nonsense, fear-mongering, and discriminatory policies that predominantly go against black people. Anyway, which side are you siding with? Let me know down in the comment section below for obvious reasons. I think the answer is going to be pretty clear here. I got a lot more to say that's going to be totally unfiltered, totally uncensored on lukeuncensored.com. I have a lot to get off of my chest. Stay tuned for that and a lot more. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing these videos, which I'm eternally grateful for. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for a lot more here on wearechange.org.